Hey there, Danielle Matthews here. I'm coming to you live from Florida, and today is Monday, so it is book club day, and we are kicking off a new book. If you're new to my content, just a little bit about me. I guide people through their healing journey, so I help people to heal physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And one of the things that I love to do is talk about the wisdom that lies in a lot of the books. A lot of people have books. I've got a bookshelf down here. The bottom two levels are filled with books, and there's so much wisdom sitting there. So I do book club to connect with you all so we can have some powerful discussions and conversations. If you're not already in the Telegram channel, Enlightened Minds, I can get you in there. It's where I just talk about what we're reading, what to focus on that week. And if you've got any questions during the week, you can ask them there. And today, The Game of Life and How to Play It, I should say, is a really fun book. It's an oldie but a goodie. All right, this is not new. I think it's, at least I want to say it's been around like 100 years. When was it? Originally published in 1925, so 99 years old. But we're diving into it. I think these principles, as she says in the is said in the foreword, is they are universal and applicable to all of us. So we're going to dive in. If you're live with me on book club and you have already read chapter 1, let me know that you're here. Let me know that you've connected with me. I know sometimes it takes a minute for the live to show up to everybody, but it's good to see you. And all right, hey Lou, I know your book is arriving shortly. So let's kick off with this. And I just want you to put a 1 in the chat if you have ever had one of these thoughts. All right, so you got to play along, right, in book club. Have you ever had one of these thoughts? Put a 1, and if you've had multiple, you can put multiple 1s. Life is difficult. Everything seems so hard. I'm always broke. I'll never find my soulmate. Work is a grind. Nothing ever seems to work out for me. I got some honest people over here on Instagram. On Facebook, you can't tell me none of you have had those thoughts. Good morning, Karen. There we go. Yeah, these are pretty common. You know, negative thoughts tend to run rampant in our mind. It's just kind of the way that the mind operates. So you have to start to catch it, and that's what this whole chapter was about, which I love. And she said, or what's said here is this true, or is it just that what we tell her? This is what we tell ourselves. Is it possible that we make life so much more difficult than it needs to be? All of these, negative thoughts that we have, all of the discussion that happens in our mind, are we actually making life more complicated, more difficult than it needs to be? And is it even remotely possible that life could be fun, even a game? And that was sort of the premise, the foreword of this book. I love it. I mean, the title alone gives the whole thing away. Oh, what's this say over here? That was the old me. Since reading The Secret, I've changed my words and my mindset. Yeah. But it's amazing because the words can pop back in, and my mom taught me this. She'll just say, cancel. Cancel that. I didn't mean it. Cancel that. Right? Turn it off. No. Rewind this. And, but life is a game. If you've taken mastery with me, if you've gone through my inner management mastery, you hear me say all of the time, guys, that's your playground. This is your playground. Work is your playground. Your relationships are your playground. Your business is your playground. Your friendships are your playground. Vacation is your playground. This life is a playground. And, what's the most important thing to know? If you're playing a game, what's the most important thing to know? It's not a rhetorical question. If you're playing a game, what do you want to know? What's the first thing that comes to mind when you, I don't know, somebody says, hey, sit down, let's do this game, let's play that game, whatever it might be. What's the first thing that comes to you? Most people, I love this quote to kick off the game, right? Chapter 1. Most people consider life a battle, but it's not a battle, it's a game. Yeah, how to play it. Exactly. It's in the title. Wasn't a difficult one. How to win. What are the rules? Yeah, the rules, ? Yeah, the rules. I would say the most important thing in any game, what do you sit down? If you're going to play a new card game, immediately out of your mouth, what do? You start sharing the rules, right? Well, this is how it works. These are the parameters with which you're playing in, okay? And that's what's going to help you win the game. I'll never forget when my car accident happened and I was a year into my recovery, and the doctor told me it was my new normal, I remember thinking to myself, Danielle, there's just new rules on the game. Like, there's new rules on the game. The rules in my situation at that time were basically like, okay, you can't handle loud noise. You can't handle light. You can't focus for more than 10 minutes at a time. You get dizzy. You require a lot of sleep. You can't go out. You can't work. Like, those were the new rules. And I thought, okay, well, what's the objective of the game? Right? And that was the second thing over here. Well, how do I win? How do I win? I want to know the rules, and then I want to know how I win. And to me, winning this game is inner happiness. It's inner peace. I did. I broke through those rules. I won the game, Lou. I won the game. And then the rules went bye-bye. But that was how it was, right? So you cannot play a game if you don't know the rules. And what was set up here, does anyone know, is Florence male or female? Like, I wanted to say female, but then I think it's male. Does anyone know? I should have looked that up. I don't know if I say he or she. If anyone knows for certain, if the author is male or female, let me know. All right, so basically what Florence sets up here is that the rules here are knowledge of the spiritual laws of life. So this game of life that we are playing, all of us are playing, right? We're here, we're playing it. There are some spiritual laws that we need to be made aware of. And these spiritual laws really set up the rules, the success that you can have, and for you to ultimately be able to win. Okay, so the law here, giving and receiving, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And she or he, Florence, talks a lot about Jesus, quotes from the Bible a lot actually, which I thought was pretty interesting. And this is the law, all right? This is the law. What we sow, we will reap. What we give out will come back. And if you think about, I always compare everything to life, like this game that we're playing. She was a woman. Thank you, Mom. Okay. I thought it was a woman, and then I was like, maybe not. Okay, so she. And I just totally distracted myself. Oh, networking. I had a friend of mine, Denise Bohm, actually, she just recently passed away, but I knew her through networking, and she was the biggest giver. And there's a concept in networking called giver's gain, meaning the more I can give, like she was always giving out referrals, she was always sending new leads to people, she was always giving. And the concept that we used to teach in that networking group, and I think it is a concept that aligns very much with the game that we're all playing, is giver's gain. But there was also a known fact that just because you give a referral to someone, you give somebody else business, does not mean you have the expectation that they turn around and give you business. It's not an equal thing like that. It's like, no, I'm just going to give. Like, I'm going to open up all the windows in my house, and I'm going to give, and I'm going to let everything flow out, knowing that what I sow, I will reap. And so if I give, I will eventually get. The law is that it has to flow in that way. And so we taught that in networking, giver's gain. Just give, and then you will get. And someone might be able to refer business to you that you'll never be able to refer business to. You'll never get to say thank you in that way to them, right? It's not an exchange like that. It's just this concept of what you sow, you will reap, right? What you put out is going to come back. So, what's this? Mary Kay Ash, in her book, a chapter, you can't outgive the Lord. The Lord? The Lord. Maybe that's a misspelling. Amazing. Yeah, you can't. And that's what's kind of put here, actually. Chapter 2 gets into that. I just read chapter 2 before I got on here, so I'm nice and confused myself. I usually don't skip ahead. All right. A person with an imaging faculty trained to image only good brings into his life every righteous desire of his heart: health, wealth, love, friends, perfect self-expression, and his highest ideals. To train the imagination successfully, man must understand the workings of his mind. Know thyself. The subconscious is power without direction. It's like steam or electricity. It does what it's directed to do. So it's just like boom, 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 right? It's just going. The subconscious mind is just like infinite, right? It's got this energy, it's got this ability to create, and it needs direction. All right. And it's just constantly producing what's been impressed upon it. So the question is, what are you impressing upon your subconscious mind? And if you don't know, look at the results in your life. Look at your results. Look at your relationships. Look at your business. Look at your work life. Look at your kids. Look at everything. Look at the results that you're getting in life. That has to do with what's been programmed into your subconscious. A lot of the things that are showing up are because of things that are just, lodged in there, and you're attracting more and more of that. You're creating more and more of that because of the stuff that's in there. Some of it is great. Others, you're like, woo, why is this here? Why is this move being made on my chessboard? Not interested in this being part of the game. Okay? So, the conscious mind has been called mortal, or the carnal mind. It is the human mind, and it sees life as it appears to be. But the subconscious mind is the God mind within each of us. That is your subconscious. There is a place that you are to fill, and no one else can fill this. Something you are to do which no one else can do. All right? And this is something that gets programmed in by the God mind, right? By source, by the infinite, by whatever you want to call it. There is a perfect picture of this in your superconscious mind. It usually flashes across the conscious as an unattainable ideal, something too good to be true. Hey, Charlotte. So I'm going to ask everybody here, what flashes across your mind? What are the things that have come through that you're like, and you immediately dismiss it? But it's like some desire, some vision on your heart, something that you're like, that is what I came here for. Like, that is what I'm supposed to do. Has anyone tasted what she is talking about here? All right, this super conscious mind. For me, I've seen like stages, like speaking on stages. That's what I've seen. I don't know how it's going to happen. I've been seeing this for years. I went to some conference. Who's the guy that wrote Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul? I can picture him. He's very gray now. The heck is his name? Anyway, I went to a conference where he was speaking, and he had you like write down, your vision, your like, what do you want? And it was like, it was so clear. I was like, oh, I'm talking to like tens of thousands of people. Like, it was just so clear. Yes, Jack Canfield. Thank you. That's exactly who it is. Yeah, Jack Canfield. It was like his place. And he was sharing how, like, at his conferences, he would always talk about, like, for example, like a place on an island in Hawaii, and but you only own part of it, so you don't have to worry about it, but you rotate out and you can vacation there and whatever. Like, he was just like speaking that, and he said, it's really funny. It's very recently that condo in Hawaii came into my life. He goes, I didn't even like think that I wanted that. I use it as an example in my conferences, but then I said it with such conviction that it came through and it came in, and like it got attracted in. So let's see, Charlotte, your mission. Yes, what's your mission? I want to see, like, put it out. Making a positive impact on people's lives. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So these are the beautiful things. If you're not typing anything, maybe it's too close to your chest, you don't want to say it, fine, but allow yourself to think, like, what are these moments that have like flashed through that you're, and immediately you dismiss it, like, well, that's impossible. How would I do that? I don't know how to do that, blah, blah, blah. That is the thing that has been impressed upon your superconscious, and you're the only one that can do it. Nobody else can sing the song that you came here to sing, right? Okay, we're on we're on page 6. Many people are in ignorance of their true destinies and are striving for things and situations which do not belong to them and would only bring failure and dissatisfaction if attained. Wow. I'm going to read that again. I read that. I looked at that again. I started. I underlined it twice. I was like, holy cow. This is what's happening to many of us. Because we have lost touch with our inner guidance system, because we're not paying attention to our own inner wisdom, because we're paying attention to what society, our family, what all of these other things externally are telling us what we should do, what we should have, what ought to be the right path. We're not listening to our own inner calling. Many people are in ignorance of their true destinies. Maybe that is why not many people wrote in the chat here when I asked. And are striving for things and situations which do not belong to them. So people are running after things that do not belong to them, that are not going to bring them the inner satisfaction. All right? And would bring failure and dissatisfaction if attained. All right? How many of you have seen this in people? Friends of yours that are in relationship maybe with someone because they feel like it's the right person that society or their family wants them to be with. But it's not the truth, their inner truth. Or they're working a job. They have some career that they're actually miserable in. It's not bringing them any sort of satisfaction at all. In fact, it's bringing them stress. But they feel like, oh, I need to make my family proud. This is what society tells me I need to do. Like, this is what needs to happen. I've watched it happen. I've seen friends of mine go that path. And they've got so much inner turmoil, anxiety, depression, burnout. And it's like, well, you're not listening to your inner guidance. You need to listen to the inner guidance. Like, say thank you to your family. Say thank you to society. Like, thanks for this insight on a path that I could take, but I'm going to take the one that my soul is telling me to take. The saying, money doesn't bring you happiness, comes to mind. Yeah, right? Because it's like, look, if you're going, well, I know that if I'm a lawyer, I'll make good money, and I'll make my family proud and whatever. And so you go to law school, but inside you're like, I hate this. I don't want to be doing this, but you're getting the money. It's not going to bring you happiness. Exactly. You're going to have an inner misery because you're not listening to the inner guide. You got to listen to the inner guide. Many people have brought disaster into their lives through idle words. So this is a little bit of a pivot from the conversation we were just having. It gets into this law of sowing and reaping. What you sow, you shall reap. What you speak, you will create. And the first place you speak it is in your mind, right? The things that you say to yourself are incredibly powerful. We talk about this a lot in the mastery program about how things manifest physically into the body. They literally can physically manifest into your body as dis-ease, right, as disease in the system, because you've thought it over time, because you've had this pattern over time. Like, these are real things. Thoughts are things, okay? And people have this, that you see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Yeah, right? Every great architect sees something in their mind first and then creates it on paper and then brings it into reality. And the same is true with your words. Okay, so watch your words. She shares about this, like she shares lots of different stories, right? People that she's worked with. And this one, she talked about a lady that, kept saying, I'm sick and tired of my things. I just want to live in a trunk, right? A really wealthy lady. And eventually, years down the road, what happened? Well, she was living in a trunk because she spoke it into existence. Today, we were driving down our road here, down to the house. And there's an oak tree that keeps losing branches. And I keep saying, that tree's going to fall down. That tree's going to fall down. That tree's going to fall down. Because anytime there's a storm, like huge branches fall, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, that is not a healthy tree. The tree's going to fall down. And my boyfriend looked at me and was like, stop saying that. Like, we don't want that tree to fall down. I'm like, okay, right. The tree's going to get its strength. The tree's going to get its strength. We can create things. So just mind your words. Mind your words. And especially, not so much externally, but internally about what you're saying about yourself. And the internal conversations you're having. So, all right. Oh my gosh, there's so many good things here. What do I want to talk about next? So, again, she just gives lots of different, you'll see this throughout. Like, everything that's in italics are some of her really good affirmations that you can grab and use. Infinite spirit upon the way, open the way for great abundance for this person. She is an irresistible magnet for all that belongs to her by divine right. Like, that is a really powerful affirmation. Okay? And speaking that for yourself, having another speak it for you is really powerful too. But these are the things you're sowing and reaping and having complete faith that you're going to be creating. And trust your intuition, because these things don't just come to you, right? You have to answer the call about how then to bring these things into your life. So, she shares about the woman who had $8 and a hunch. And the $8 was going to take her home. She had a hunch to go home. Well, it turned out when she got home, the abundance was waiting for her there. So just paying attention to that. And another verse in the Bible that she pulled out, ask and it shall be given you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. Ask for it and you'll get it. Okay? That is basically the thing. But you have to have complete faith. And most people don't have faith. Most people, their mind, what were the things I read at the beginning? The mind jumps in and starts saying all this BS. But life is hard. It should be easier. Why hasn't it happened yet? I don't think it's actually going to happen. Like blah, blah, blah. All that comes in and it will ruin your ability to bring in what you're wanting. You know, and sometimes you're bringing in things subconsciously. This I teach a lot about. And this is a lot of like, in our last book, we talked a lot with Nikki's work, you know, talking about those things that come up that are not helpful, that you want to release. Anyway, I don't want to get a tangent about that. So fear must be erased from the consciousness. It is man's only enemy. Fear is only inverted faith. It is faith in evil rather than good. This is a huge point. You know, what did I just say? So we can say these affirmations, we can act a certain way, but if inside of ourselves something is off, you know, and we are choosing fear instead of faith, we're letting that little thought whisper to us a little too loudly, right? The ego mind. And what will that do? Well, it will totally take you off. Like he says, or she says right here, fear is the enemy. It is faith in evil rather than faith in good. Why? Faith and fear both require you to believe in nothing, right? Like something that you can't see, I should say. Let's put it that way. They both require you to believe in something you can't see. So fear, you're believing in evil. You're believing in the dark things. Versus faith, you're believing in light, in good things. If you had a choice, which my friends, you do you want to believe in something you can't see that's good or believe in something you can't see that's evil? Put it in the chat. Like, what's your preference? Fear or faith? Good or evil? Like, which one? What do you want? You know, the very first time that I came to the Amrit Yoga Institute, which where I'm living now, but the very first time I came here, I went to a program. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I was learning how to teach somebody to meditate. Turned out it was 10 days of just incredible philosophies and trainings, and it was just absolutely amazing. But one of the things that we did on the very last day at graduation, we had Guru Dev here. Guru Dev founded the Institute. He had been studying with his teacher since the age of like 16 or 17. And so decades. I mean, he's dedicated his life to having faith in, you know, these teachings of India. And we were told the night before our like graduation ceremony, we were told you can leave something at the feet of the guru, something that you're ready to let go of, something that you no longer want to hold on to. You know, you can basically give it, like what do I teach in Mastery? Give it to the sky to hold for you, right? So the guru is sort of the physical manifestation of this in this world. And so you lay it at the feet of the guru. The guru then transmutes it, holds on to it, like gets rid of it. And so I sat there and like, think about this. I had no preparation for this program, so I know what I was getting into. And I sat there and I thought that night, like, what a profound gift to be given. You know, if all they're saying is true and that whatever I give away will just be gone forever from me, what would you want to give? Like, what do you want to offload from your shoulders? And I'm curious, right? If you were sitting there and you were in this program, what would you offload? Like, what is the thing, if there was one thing that you could just eliminate from your world, what would you eliminate? And I sat with it. I like stayed up that night like, this is really heavy. Like, I don't know what to do. You know, and I wanted to ask somebody else, but I thought, no, like ask yourself, Danielle, ask yourself. And I sat with it. And then do you want to know what came to mind? It was just one word. Fear. It became crystal clear. Fear. If you can release one thing from your life that will then set you free and will support you being able to thrive, that thing for me was fear. And so that next morning, when it was my turn to walk up and, you know, and release what it was, I said, I release fear. Yeah. Self-doubt, Fear. Yep. Yeah, these are the things that are just holding us back. And I love, false evidence appearing real. That's what fear stands for. It's false evidence appearing real. Great acronym. And it's an illusion. There's nothing to be scared of. Like, you were God made manifest. Like, are you kidding me? There's nothing there. Anger. Others have said they want to release. Yeah. So for me, it was fear. And that was circa 2015. It was like 9 years ago. 8.5 years ago. And constantly, like if something, now I use fear as a guidance system. So if I start to get nervous, afraid, whatever, I lean into it. I go, there's something here for me to learn, because now I know that my brain, if it kicks up fear, it's just because it's new. It's an unknown. And so now I know I no longer get scared by fear. I use it as a guidance, almost like someone would use a needle on a compass to point them in a direction. Like something scares me, I'm like, okay, let me lean into that. I have something to learn. I have a place to grow. All right, so for what it's worth, fear. When I read that, I was like, yeah, fear is the enemy. I agree. I landed at the same conclusion 9 years ago. And I love the way that she puts it. It's faith in evil instead of good. And we want to have faith in good. So, all right, this kind of wraps up. Yeah, this is the last little bit. Page 11. Man has ever a silent listener at his side, his subconscious mind. So start to realize what you're saying impresses upon yourself, and you will create it. Okay, so make sure that you are becoming very conscious of your inner talk. And if something comes up that you don't like, this is what we've learned. We just talked about with Mickey Singer and his work. What do you do when those things come up? You release it. You let go of it. You just allow that to pass through and go, that's not mine anymore. And you put in a new way of being. We're going to release those things now. All right. But this is how you, what does she say? This is the square of life, the game completed. I now make my perfect records through the Christ within. The records of health, wealth, love. Sorry, I didn't read the whole thing. Sorry. This is what we're going to end on, right? This thought. I now smash and demolish by spoken word. I love that. I now smash and demolish by spoken word every untrue record in my subconscious mind, right? Because that subconscious gets programmed by stuff that's not helpful. They shall return to the dust heap of their native nothingness, for they came from my own vain imagings. I now make my perfect records through the Christ within, the records of health, wealth, love, and the perfect self-expression. All right, so that's another affirmation, that she's sharing if you want to use it. Any man who does not know the power of the word is behind the times. Power lies in the tongue. So that was the kickoff of the book, right? Biggest takeaway: what you sow, you shall reap. What you speak, you shall create. And so just get really, really clear and realize, fear and all that stuff. It's unnecessary. Let it go. Just let it go. All right. Okay, so we are going to be reading the next chapter. She doesn't label them, I guess, with numbers, but it's the law of prosperity. So it goes till page 21, at least in my book. It's 13 to 21, the law of prosperity. All right, so I will see you here next Monday. Lots of love to all of you. I hope you have a fabulous week, and it's always great to kick off the week with you. Bye, guys.